Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Coach Joe, Realtor Joe, hashtag theRealJoeHouston. It's Wednesday afternoon. I am literally doing the Friday morning live that I tried to do 3 times this last Friday, and it didn't. I couldn't pull it off. It kept disconnecting me and blah blah blah. So it's great to be here this Wednesday afternoon. I'm gonna give you the same info and insight that I gave on that I tried to give on Friday morning. And if you join me at any point here, that'd be awesome. Please go to my YouTube channel, theRealJoeHouston on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Watch videos or whatever, but like those. But please subscribe on my YouTube channel. That'd be super awesome and helpful. You guys, the real estate market has changed a lot in the last year and a half. And a lot of agents, a lot of sellers, especially not buyers so much, but a lot of agents and a lot of sellers are stuck in the desire for it to still be 2020, 21, 22, where things were cranking along, and what I refer to as the market momentum, the desire to buy and sell, the opportunity to utilize equity to sell and take that, what I call free money, take that free money from the equity that you've gained simply because the market's gone up in price, and go spend that on a new house, either down the road, down the street, in a different community within your town, or maybe even to move it to a different state like a lot of people did back in 2020, 21, and 22. When sellers have that free money, it gives them a lot of latitude and opportunity to make choices and decisions for themselves that without that free money, they wouldn't be able to make those decisions. You know, it's why people stay in their homes longer if they don't have that extra, again, I call it free equity. And then, you know, during 2020, 21, 22, interest rates were super low. We had never seen them that low. Not in my lifetime. They'd never been down to 2.5%, 3%. So what happened, you guys, during that time period is if you're a homeowner and you bought your home, you know, in 2020, 21, 22, and or you refinanced during that same time frame, and you moved into a lower interest rate that gave you a great, you know, doable, workable mortgage, right? To be able to get that money at a much lower rate, you're kind of locked into that at the moment, right? And so in this market that we're in right now here in 2025, we basically have been in this market that we're in now since about the summer of 2022. May of 2022 is when everything shifted from just a lot of momentum and all that awesome movement. I call it awesome because, you know, buyers were having fun buying new homes. Sellers were having fun making a bunch of money, selling their home to those buyers, and then they themselves becoming buyers, moving wherever they move to. And obviously, as real estate agents, we love to help people buy and sell homes. We like to get paid for what we do, and it makes the whole thing fun, right? But remember, during that kind of market, the market is driving all of the activity. Buyers want to buy, sellers want to sell, agents want to help buyers and sellers, and we all just kind of go on our pathway forward, and we make things happen quickly. But it's the momentum of the market that moves that market and causes it all to happen. Buyers have a fear of missing out. Sellers don't have much to lose. Typically, the homes were selling for more than the previous home sold for, so it all felt good. And then in May of 2022, it all started to shift to what we call a more normal market. But guys, during that time period between 2022 to 23, 24, the inventory was still fairly low and demand was high. But as interest rates rose, it made it harder for people to purchase. And it made it harder for sellers to sell and take any money that they might have had and moved it into another property, because it was literally going to cost them double to borrow the money if they were to do so, right? If you sell one house and you get a new loan, you gotta pay whatever the newest interest rate is, whatever the going rate is. And so that started to make it hard for sellers to do that. So then the inventory started to stack up because some sellers still wanted to test the market, but they were trying to sell for more than they could. Buyers weren't buying. And then all of a sudden, fast forward to today, we have higher inventory. Most markets around the country, if you go back a couple years, they had somewhere between a month to a month and a half, maybe 2 months worth of inventory. That's not very much at all. That is strongly a seller's market. Sellers pretty much in control. But as the buyers started to pull back, there started to become a balance of desire and want and and buyers didn't feel pushed to pay whatever sellers wanted. And so as they resisted, Randy Collins, I see you joined my live. You might have left already, but welcome to the call. What occurred then, though, was the inventory started to rise, and even though there's still a lot of demand, buyers said, you know what, I'm not going to move forward. And you guys, I'm explaining this part because sellers right now don't understand why their home's not selling for what they think it should sell for, right? That's where I started out with. A lot of people are still living in 2020, 21, and 22. And so if you're a seller in today's market, you have to be honest about where the market's at, okay? And if you're a listing agent, you have to be honest about where the market's at. And as a listing agent in this industry, right, if you're a real estate agent and you're listing homes or you're talking to potential sellers about selling their home, you've got to have a clear understanding about where the market's really at and what is motivating people to buy and sell, and who are the actual buyers that would potentially buy somebody's property, and because they need to, they have to, and or the sellers that actually have to sell. Good friend of mine who I respect his knowledge. I just saw him post a video on something similar to this just today. And anytime that happens, I swear that people must be watching my videos from before and now they're just putting it out there. I say that in jest. Smart people in this industry understand what's going on right now. But the truth is there's a lot of sellers that are in denial, and there's even agents that are in denial. And so my intention right now is to take a few minutes and inform you of where things really stand, so that if you're a seller wanting to get sold or needing to get sold, or if you're a listing agent that's struggling because you're actually collecting listings and they're not selling, and you have difficult sellers because you didn't prepare them properly, you didn't set the proper expectations or educate them in a way that they understood the market like they need to, then you're probably in a difficult situation. So now you've got a challenging seller and a challenged listing agent, and nothing's going well because it's not selling and there's expectations that aren't being met. So this is the deal, you guys. There's basically 5 groups of people. Hello, Ann Red. Welcome to the call. Welcome to my little live here. There's basically 5 groups of buyers out there, or buyers and sellers. You have to find people that need to buy or sell right now, or that see the opportunity as a reason to buy, to get into the market. If you're going to find actual buyers and sellers, people are not moving around just for the sake of moving around. They're not doing it for fun. They're not doing it because they have free money. They're in their equity. They're not doing it because interest rates are cheap, or just because they need an extra bedroom or a third space in their garage. People move around for those reasons, just because they can or because they want to. But the conditions that exist in our market are really not conducive to people doing it for those reasons right now. So you have 5 groups of people. First-time home buyers, because they want to get in the market, and they can, and they're smart for doing so. So if you're a first-time home buyer, congratulations. Get out there, find the property that you want to purchase, and get in the market. Whatever you can do, get into home ownership so that you start gaining equity over time and you get the advantages of home ownership. It's smart. The other group are investors. Investors are looking to buy properties because real estate's always a great investment. The way you buy, the way you hold, the way you flip or sell, the way you do what you do makes a difference if you're an investor. You create your own opportunities oftentimes by finding the right deals, but investors are buying, and some are even selling right now for various reasons, okay? That's group number 2. Number 3, relocation people. People moving in or out of town for some reason. Most of the time that's for job opportunities, or maybe to move closer to grandchildren, family members of some sort. You have some people that are relocating because of age and medical reasons. But I don't like to refer to the idea that a lot of people, because they're baby boomers and they're of that age, that they're going to be selling right now, because the truth is there's a good chance they're not. Even for those folks, even if their home is too big or it's too much maintenance or they've lost their spouse, they want to move, but it's not necessarily the best time for them to do so. So even those people are holding steady right now, right? So again, it's the have-to movers. It's the have-to sellers. If somebody needs to sell because they've got to move into a safer, more senior care, senior transitional living arrangement, whether it's with family or in a professional environment, then those people have to sell. So they're a good opportunity as well. But relocation people. The other ones are, unfortunately, some people get divorced. And if people are getting divorced and they're splitting up the household, typically it involves selling the home. So divorcees are the other one. And then lastly, when people pass away, right? I like to say it funny. Dead people sell homes. Typically somebody sells the home for them, but their home oftentimes gets sold when they pass away, right? So if that's happened in your life, my condolences. You've lost somebody that you love and care about. Genuinely, sincerely sorry for that loss. But as real estate goes, those are people who are selling as well. So if you're in one of those groups and you want to buy or need to sell, then contact your agent. But remember the things that I'm sharing with you and make sure that your agent is talking to you about the reality of what's going on in the marketplace, and ensure as a seller that your agent that you're thinking of listing with is giving you honest truth. If they say things like, we can give it a try. We can try it. Well, let's see what we can do. I think you might be able to get this much. Well, let's just put it out there and see what happens. That's not conviction. And that's, to me, there's a question mark as to whether or not they have the knowledge or the conviction about what's real in the marketplace right now. Now, by the way, I know somebody could be listening in on here. There's a few markets around the country that are a little bit different than what I'm describing. If that's you, then this talk doesn't apply. But for the most part, about 95% of people around the country in any market, you're in the market that I'm describing. I coach 70 something real estate agents, right? So as an agent myself, I have the benefit of gaining the knowledge and the insight from agents all over the country. And that's how I can be so sure of what I'm telling you, is because I have this knowledge in addition to my own area here in St. George, Utah. Sellers are selling for the reasons I've shared. Buyers are buying for the reasons I've shared. And people are not moving around just for fun. The tough conversation comes up when a seller can't sell their home for the amount that they want, or they feel like they need. You guys, those are tough conversations, and there's no feeling of or lack of compassion or empathy for somebody who needs to sell, especially, or wants to sell to make a move, but the market's not going to bear what it needs to, right? Buyers aren't going to pay them what they need to be able to make that move happen or to get out of their property without losing some money. We have military folks that, they get moved every few years. And if you bought your home 3 years ago, you may not be able to sell in some markets to cover your cost of selling that property, paying off your debt, and selling the real estate agent. It's a tough situation to be in. And it takes a delicate hand-holding to walk through that process by your agent. But the truth is, it's kind of like being in an emergency room when the emergency room doc comes out, or the heart doc or the cancer doc comes out and says, folks, I have some bad news, but let me share with you what's really going on. It's not quite that, but it's kind of close, because if you're healthy and just want or need to make a move, you don't want to hear that you can't make enough money to make it happen, or that you're going to lose money or be upside down. And I get that, right? It is a tough conversation, but it does no good to lie to you. It doesn't do any good to play into the truth you want to hear, hoping that down the road you figure it out. That's not the way it works. I'm going to give you a little bit more detail here. If you're still listening, awesome. I'm glad that you're getting something out of this. If you just joined, just talking about pricing in the market to actually get your home sold and who's buying and selling right now. There's no commercials in this deal. I'm just rambling on here for a little bit. You guys, there's a lot of people will disagree with what I'm about to tell you. Agents will disagree, and sellers won't want to hear it. But if you're going to list your property, there's never a reason why your property won't sell within the next 30 days, except that as a seller, you're unwilling intellectually and or emotionally to come to terms with where the market's at. A common reference in our industry between listing agents and sellers is days on market. So let's say the average days on market in any given area, could be anywhere in the United States, average days on market is 112 days. It's just an example, right? So this isn't an actual number across the nation or anything. Just an example, 112 days. So if you talk to a listing agent, they might tell you, well, the average days on market's only 112 days, or it's 112 days, and we're only at 64 days. We're not even halfway to average days on market. So, we just need to sit tight and see what happens, because we're not even halfway to the average days on market. Do you guys know why average days on markets gets to that average days? It's because sellers and listing agents don't adjust the price to meet where the market will bear. Buyers make up the marketplace. Buyers will pay what buyers want to pay based on the options that they have and how they determine the value of their dollar spent. So they will pay you for your property what they feel they have to in comparison to the other options that they have. So if you think about it, does it take 112 days on average to get a home sold? No. It's just that there's a number of sellers out there that are unwilling to adjust their price or put their price where the market will bear. So they sit on the market for a long period of time. So as a seller or a listing agent, is that where you want your property to be, is sitting on the market for a long time, adding to the number of days on market, the average days on market? Or would you prefer to be the seller who gets your home sold, make the most amount of money that the market will bear, and get moved on to your next stage of life, your next property, your next city, your next town, your next country, if you happen to be a veteran or an active military that's moving or being moved somewhere in the world? The sooner you get your home sold, typically the more money you're going to make. You lose money on the ultimate sales price of your home the longer you wait. And again, I know there's a handful of examples. If you have one of those examples, I honor that, I respect that, I acknowledge it. But the truth is, 99% of the time what I just told you is accurate and true. Every once in a while, there's an exception, but it's not the norm. So if you're going to list your home, there's no reason for it to take the average days on market. Prepare it properly. Ensure that your agent is marketing it properly. Do everything possible to market it in the best light to the greatest number of people all around the world. Anyone who might be a potential buyer for your property, make sure that they see it and that it shines well, right? That it's well prepared and well marketed in every way possible. Video, drone video, regular video, all the greatest pictures and all of the greatest syndicated outlets, whether it's on the internet or print, whatever. Make sure your agent's calling people, telling them about it, putting it on all the agent tours and MLS tours and such. Make sure that it's shown in the best light possible to every potential buyer that exists out there in the world. Once that's done, it's the response of the marketplace, the buyers, that are going to tell you whether or not you're priced to get your home sold for the most amount possible. One of three things is going to occur. You're either going to end up with multiple offers on your property because it's priced well and got great exposure, or you might get some exposure. People will come to look at it. They're impressed with the pictures and video and such. And they'll come take a look. They'll look through the property. They'll show up with their agent. They'll walk through. But if they don't write offers, the message in that is that they believe that there's either equal or better values that exist in the marketplace currently, or that there will be equal or better value properties coming that they might be interested in. So they're choosing to not write an offer on yours because they believe one of those two things to be true. And if that's the case, you're probably about 5 to 10% above market value. And you need to adjust your price just that much, 5 to 10%. Remember, I love you. So when I give you this next message, I love you, I care about you, I want you to make the most amount of money possible. But the truth is, the market doesn't care what your needs are. The market is going to pay you what it feels like its best value is in comparison to all their options. The third thing that could happen is you don't get any showings, you're dead in the water. Agents are like, yeah, I don't think my client's interested in that. They saw it, but yeah, we're not going to come look at that right now. If that's the case and you're not having any showings, whether you did have showings or never had showings, if you don't have showings now, the truth is you're at least 10% above market value. Now, I'm giving you a hard truth in all of what I'm saying. And for those of you, I don't know how long I've been talking here, but if you've been listening for a while, or if you're in for part of it or all of it, whatever, I'm giving you some hard truths, but I'm giving you the truth. If you're a seller, you have to look at the market in this way. It seldom pays to wait to make adjustments or take longer to get offers. You want to get offers as soon as possible, not the same day. That's another hard truth. People brag about selling a property in the very first day to the first buyer and the only buyer. And I don't know if that's something to brag about. That's not a very, most agents go online and they brag about selling something in the very first day to the first buyer. And I cringe, if I'm being honest to you. And I'm on a live video. I can't take this back. that's not always the best thing. You want to make sure that you have enough exposure, and depending on the number of properties that you're competing against, the number of properties that have come on the market new, the number of properties that have been on the market for some period of time, you want to make sure that you expose the property long enough to make sure that it's exposed to the greatest number of buyers out there. That part is important. So when I say, you want to sell it sooner than later, I'm not talking about shortcutting the marketing that's being done on your property. That part you want to do a great job of, and make sure that it's out there for the right amount of time, and not necessarily just take the first offer. But that's a decision to be made between you and your doctor. That's a decision to be made between you and your real estate agent. But ultimately, as a general rule, that's what I would suggest. So guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to tell you this to wrap. If you're looking to buy, you have some choices. You get to look around, you get to view properties. There's typically more than enough inventory for you to be able to look around and really decide and if something's really what you want, and then make an offer and potentially negotiate. If a property comes on the market and your agent tells you that there's a lot of activity and there's likely to be multiple offers, believe them. Some properties still come on the market and get multiples because it's prepared well, priced well, and all that. So take the guidance of your agent. But if you're looking at a property that doesn't have any offers and you want to negotiate some, then put it out there and try to get that property for the best price possible. If you're a seller, understand that if you're competing against other inventory, that you've got to be priced to get sold in the number of homes that's going to sell in the next 30 days. That should be your target. And waiting doesn't help. Being stubborn doesn't help. And the market is not likely. I didn't even get into the projection of the market on this call. I guess I could give you some quick insight. If you look at the real estate trends over the last 80 years, we sold the greatest number of homes between the summer of 2020 and summer of 2022. And then as a reflection of that, what happened, hopefully my phone here doesn't overheat, as a reflection or a response to selling the greatest number of homes in those 2 years, each of those 2 years, the response to that in 23 and 24 was that we sold the least number of homes in the last 35 years, okay? So we sold the greatest number of homes. A lot of people bought and sold, so they didn't need to buy and sell. So a lot of people are not buying and selling right now. 2025 is pretty much just like 2024, 23. And it's, if we see some movement, real movement in the inventory, people, taking off on a run, or inventory taking off on a run, and a lot more buying and selling, I project that it's not going to happen in 2026. Now, guys, Warren Buffett is predicting that because of the increase of inventory, sellers are going to have to start lowering their price. And because of that, we're going to see a push for more real estate sales towards the end of this year in 2025. I got to be honest, I disagree. And he's Warren Buffett, and I'm just me. I get it. But the reason I disagree is because interest rates aren't coming down. We're not past the inflationary factors that affected us over the last 2 to 3 years of the last presidential administration. We're not through that yet, and people's wages haven't increased enough. And that's why we're still dealing with those 5 groups of people that might buy and sell right now. Those are the ones that need to. Again, people aren't just buying and selling for the sake of it, and it's because of higher interest rates, wages that haven't caught up to the cost of inflation that we experienced over the last 2.5, 3 years. And I just don't believe that prices are going to drop inflationary wise, that they're going to come back down enough to give people enough, additional income or additional money in their budget to make up for the cost of borrowing the money to buy their next house, and or make up for the lack of increase of equity that they would be taking if they sold to the next property. I just don't see that happening. But I do believe that by summer of 2026, we will start to see some movement, increase in sales and so on. But again, if you look at the trends, typically, if you're watching trends, or if you're reviewing them over the last 80 years, we're not likely for a big real estate run. We're 3 years into this kind of stagnation of real estate, where it's just people that need to sell. We're probably not looking at another run for another 3 to 5 years. I know that seems like a long time, but that's just, we're in more of a normal market right now. And we will see slight increases in home sales, I think, over the next few years, but it won't be a big real estate run like we saw in 2020 to 22. And if it takes COVID to cause a big run again, I'll do without. I'm okay. I'd rather not go through that again, right? And I don't want something crazy to cause us to have to buy and sell a bunch of homes that's negative to cause the buying and selling. But if you hang in there 3 to 5 years, you'll have enough equity. Interest rates will fluctuate and whatever. Wages will have caught up to inflation. Everybody will be making more money, and the opportunities of the economy that come and go all the time, we'll see something that's going to cause real estate to take off. Anyway, I'm going to wrap with that. You guys are awesome. I don't know who was on here because I can't see it. I'm trying to stare into the camera so that I got eye-to-eye contact with you. Thank you for being here again. Please go to my my YouTube channel, The Real Joe Houston. Like and subscribe. Like everything you can and subscribe to the channel, please. I want to be able to do lives over there, and I need a handful more followers because it's a new YouTube channel. And that's that, guys. I'm going to wrap. So thanks for being here. Take care. I got the real Land Rud. Hi, Joe. Love you. Tony Farrah, thanks for being here. Nicole, thanks for checking in. And Randy, I know you were here. Guys, check it out. Have an amazing day and an amazing night.